Hello and welcome to the Game Warrior. I'm Jason.
I'm Jenny.
And we are here today in this video to do a review of the 1 to 5 player co-op, semi-co-op game Nemesis, designed by Adam Kopinski and published by Awaken Realms. And Jenny has the box, which is a big meaty box. It's a meaty box. And we've got the queen, and we have a breeder. We have the regular aliens, which we call adults, and we have the little itty bitty larvae that pop out of your chest. Ooh. So Jenny, why don't you talk to us about what the frame of what we're doing on this video is about?
All right, so the purpose of these videos is to basically help you decide whether you want to buy the game, play the game, maybe not put it in your collection, but play it at some point, or avoid it altogether.
Run to the hills! Actually, I'm gonna come right out. You're gonna get a very favorable view on this. Do not run to the hills. But we have played it with people, let's jumping ahead a little, who didn't like it as much as us.
Yeah.
There's clearly something wrong with them. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about the game. The game is space. Space, horror, and it's really aliens. Like, okay, you're gonna wake up, your character, you're going to wake up on a ship and you have all these characteristics of your character and everything has gone to hell. Everything's gone wrong. And in fact, one of the fun parts of the start of the game is there's just a dead corpse of one of your best friends laying next to you. And everyone wakes up out of hibernation, and because the hibernation was woken up so suddenly, you've forgotten the layout of the ship, which is brilliant because the ship layout is different every time you play it. Mm-hmm. And that's their excuse for why you don't know. You need to get to the surgery room. Where is it? I don't know. How do you not know? Well, because you just woke up and you're foggy, mm-hmm. Right? So it's space horror. And at first, things are fine. They're fine, except for your dead friend. He's just wandering around.
That's a bad omen, but other than that.
But then you find out that a lot of the stuff on the ship is broken. And then you'll find out that things are on fire. And then you'll find out that little noises matter. And then you're dead. You're dead. Okay, so we're going to move to Jenny's part here, which is what did she expect and what did she actually get?
All right, so what I expected, I mean, the game is big and it has lots of components. It's a really big board. So I was expecting a really large, epic game. Just looking at it, I was expecting it to carry the theme of aliens and kind of your classic, Sigourney Weaver alien type of scenario really strongly, and that's exactly what I got. They carried the theme so well. It is a tense game, which obviously if you're in space floating around with no help, you would expect it to be insanely tense, and that's exactly what I got in this game, and I was really happy about it.
And now would be a good time for you to tell you that my first impression of the game. The first time we played it, I'm a very competitive gamer, and we played the game co-op, so we didn't play the semi-co-op. So let's explain that right now. The co-op is you're all working together, but you have separate objectives. In the semi-co-op, you can be like that guy in the second Aliens movie, where you're like trapping everyone in there because you're trying to get an egg down her throat into her belly so you can ship her back to America for research purposes. Money, money, money for the company, right? So you can try to kill each other. Like there's conflicting, there are objectives in the semi-co-op where it's like you need to make it back with an egg and everyone else needs to die. So it can be brutal, right? And we don't play that way. We play co-op. Mm-hmm. We're all together. And the first time we played it, we died. I was pissed. I'm like, I don't like to lose. And I was so mad that I thought I might have just wasted. I kickstarted it with a lot of the extra products. I thought I might have just wasted $200. Remember that?
Yeah.
I was unhappy. I was not a happy camper after losing that game. So what I did is I went to some BGG websites, boards, and I went to Facebook. And I had taken a picture of the game and I put it on the BGG Facebook page. And I said, we died. It was horrible. And I got about 100 responses of people going, oh, that's awesome. We died this way. And other people going, oh, we died this way. And we died this way. And oh, have you died of fire yet? And I'm like, what's going on here? And I realized that there was a cinematic portion of the game. And this is why I'm telling you this, so that, because some people don't like this, right? There's a cinematic way. When we sit down, we're like, how are we going to die? And then we don't always die.
Right.
In fact, last night we probably had the single most epic game we've ever had. I died, but she made it out.
I made it.
And it was as close as it could be. If it was a movie script, it was that perfect.
Yeah.
But there's many times when you're just about to get back in the hibernation chamber and you're about to go to Earth and you're about to hit the button and the alien comes up behind you and stabs you and you die. Like, it happens. But for some reason, once you know that, this game is fun.
It's super fun.
Okay, so that's what I expected. I expected like we're going to win, and we die way more often than we win. And it's fun.
Well, and it's fun too because you have a lot of little wins throughout. So it's not like you're not having fun and it's miserable and then you get wiped out. It's so well balanced and you have so many wins, and at times you feel like, oh, we're totally screwed, and at times you're like, we're gonna make it, and then you don't. So it's even dying is fun because you've created this big epic story and this big epic game.
I remember introducing this game to my son, and it was so easy in the beginning. I started to go, he's gonna win his first game. This is no good. I shouldn't have worried. We all got wiped out. So it can be swingy in some ways. I mean, it really is fun. So we've talked about theme, we've talked about our expectations. I think we expected aliens in space and got it, but better than I expected.
Yes.
Better than I expected.
I mean, truly, it is cinematic, like to the point where, you watch a good alien movie, it keeps you on the edge of your seat. That's what this game does.
Yeah. And in fact, I think we went and watched Aliens after the first game or two going, we gotta watch this. Okay, let's talk about components. I know some of you out there want the best, highest quality components. You're not gonna play the game. I get that. I like high quality components. What do you have to say about the components?
Components are great. The miniatures are extremely cool. We've got some obviously right here. They did a great job on the miniatures.
And you know what's good? She paints the miniatures.
Yep.
She took the time to paint them.
Yep. So
I did too. We both did.
Yeah. And I mean the board game, the board itself is big and vast and really nicely done. The artwork is really nicely done. The cards, everything like that. So I have no complaints about the components at all.
I love the card quality. Something about Awaken Realms, the way they print their cards, they're very smooth. They've got a really solid finish to them. I love them. So they're really good. Let's take a moment to say we're good now, but at first putting everything back in the box was like, where does it go?
Yeah.
So they could have done a little bit better in letting you know where to go. And if you've been playing big board games, then you know that that's kind of a normal problem. And most publishers are getting on top of that and like telling you how to put it back together. This was pretty tough. It is. What do you think about it? It is a little fiddly.
Yeah, I was just gonna say one thing about the components is there are a lot of them. So it's a big setup and it's a big takedown. Not the biggest by any means. We've had far bigger ones. But it has a lot of little parts and pieces, a lot of little, tokens and little noise bits and things like that. So there is quite a bit to it. But I didn't find it really overwhelming. There are some games when I think about setting them up, and even though they're really fun, I'm like, oh, that just sounds like a lot right now. And I've not felt that about Nemesis, although it is big.
And we've played it enough times now. We're probably around the 8 to 10 parts. So, I know people have been played a lot more than that. We certainly got our money out of it just at that, because we will be playing it again. But last night, we played it to get ready for this review one more time, or another time. And it was so cool because we just opened it up and we didn't say a word to each other. And we were just both, and everything got done probably between the 5 to 10 minute mark. It was that quick. And there was no talking anymore. Like, oh, what's this? What? And none of that. We just knew it. So that was really fun. So let's talk about the ease of learning it and the ease of play.
So I'm not the one who read the rules and learned how to play the game, but I can tell you as the person who was taught the game, it was very easy to pick up on. It was very streamlined, simple. You know, it's basically movement, flip, look, search, make noise, fight something, hope you don't have to fight something, find your objective. Like it seems very straightforward. When there were questions, the rule book is very clear. You can go right to the header, find what you're looking for, figure out what the rule is around it. So again, I didn't learn the game myself. Jason learned it, but from the perspective of someone who was taught the game, caught on really quickly.
Yeah. It did take a little bit of an effort to put it together. I watched a couple videos. There's, I wish I knew their names and could give them some shout outs. And they were really helpful. And what ended up being the most helpful to me, I'll go try to find this and put this link down below. There's a guy who played a game solo. And he just had it's like he had his cell phone. And he curses a lot in it, which is funny. And he's just playing through it. He played like 45 minutes and then he just died a horrible death. And it was like, I learned so much in that 45. That was the best thing I did. And then it's easy to teach. It's a little hard to learn. If you can find someone to teach it to you, you're going to pick it up way quicker. But I got it told and watched some videos, and then we got it. Mm-hmm. And the book is good. So, okay, replayability and game length. What do you say about that?
It's definitely replayable. Like Jason.
Jensen, I changed my name. No, Jason. I'm Jason.
Like Jason was saying earlier, the board, there's the main board, but then there's tiles that go on top of the board, and so that keeps the game fresh because you don't know which tile is going where. And then obviously you don't know, there's mechanics where you don't know if you're going to run into an alien or not, and then there's also card flipping that creates certain events or creates the aliens to do certain things. So it's 100% replayable. I never felt like we're just doing the same game over again. It always feels very tense. It always feels like it's ratcheting throughout the game to make it more and more more and more pressure. So I find this to be an incredibly replayable game. The game length, it's a bit lengthy, an hour and a half?
It's probably two and a half.
Does it tell us?
We go through it. It takes a while.
I don't want to move the monsters off the top.
It doesn't tell you.
It doesn't?
It does, but it's no good. These things don't tell you. Okay. They're no good.
2 hours then.
It says an hour to 2 hours.
Okay. So an hour and a half.
It's longer than that. It is. But we'll speak more about that ratchet mechanic. Because it's not a ratchet. It's not a mechanic. But it's just the design builds the tension, and it's wonderful. It's the way they do it. It's got to be something they play tested 1,000 times to get it here, and they got it. So I just loved it. Did you want to say anything more about it?
Yeah, again, they do a great job with it, and it's one of those things that, it makes you really work to create a balance to try and keep yourself out of really bad situations. So when we first played the game, again, being, a little oblivious to some of the bad situations we could get into, we didn't know enough to kind of not always go for gold every single turn, but instead take a step back and, build up some things that would help us later on. So it balances the game so nicely, and you really do have to think very hard, several steps ahead, so that you're preparing yourself now for the inevitable horrible thing that's going to happen later.
And they have a good choice of characters. It's 5 or 6 to open with, and some are more combat oriented and some are more technical oriented, and the balance is really good. It's fun to play the different characters, and I find it to be a difficult game, more difficult than I'm normal. Like, I die more often than I would like, but because it's cinematic, it pulls off the depths. I will say there is one card that's pretty brutal. You turn it, and it's pretty brutal. And we've actually thought about
we've house
ruling that out, because if
we've made it less impactful.
Yeah. So sometimes it's not fair to open a room, step on a landmine, and die. It's like, oh, well, that's no fun. I mean, you want to have your leg blown off and you're crawling through the thing away from the alien, and you got a chance.
Yeah, Yeah, I will say one thing too, because I was surprised. So last night we played the game, Jason died, and I still had several more moves I had to make to even try and survive. And I thought to myself, well, I don't know if this game's going to be fun now, because I'm the only person left playing it, you know, that's from the survivor side of it. But again, they do a great job, because there's so much that the aliens are doing, and there's so much event flipping and so much going on the other side, that Jason then just took over and just started playing the aliens and started playing the event deck. And there was, at least for me, no loss of kind of that fun gaming experience with you.
And it was funny, I'll be honest. At first, I'm just cheering for her to die, right? I died, I want her to go down. But then it just starts like, oh, I think you can try this, you know, you can do this. And then it became like, I was rooting for her.
Yeah.
And then at the end, I was like, and I mean, like I said, you can't, you know, this is what you want in gaming. You want a challenge, you want to be pressed, you want to have, you know, a fun time with people you love and you like at least, and you just get to the end and then like, and you die and it's terrible. And then this time we were literally high-fiving. She just kept putting her hand up, give me another high five. And it was that exciting. I was dead. So I still had just such a fun time.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's wrap it up. Let's talk about the game. Now, a real quick story. When I saw this about 2 years ago, I saw it on the BGG list of top 10 games, and it was always in the top 10 back then. And I was like, and I was just getting back into gaming after being a retailer for years. Then I gotten out of it, and now I was back, and I didn't know too much about this Kickstarter thing. What's Kickstarter? And they said, yeah, it's did you Kickstart it? And I'm like, no, what is that? And so I couldn't get the game. You just couldn't get the game. So I was watching these reviews, seeing these people talk about it, and I couldn't get it. Well, don't worry, it's out now. It is available in retail. It is in my local game store down in Salt Lake, Game Night Games. They have it. I have seen it on Amazon. I've seen it everywhere. It's pretty pricey. I wish I'd looked this up. If I was a little more professional, I would have done that. I knew it was available. I should have given you a price. It's over $100 retail. So I will, in fact, I'll put a link down below, and I'll tell you in the description how much this game costs. It costs me more because I got it in Kickstarter. One final thing to say is, before we go to our rankings, is there's a new Kickstarter coming out, which is the sequel to this, called Lockdown. Now I know, a lot of you, if not most of you, already have your Lockdown order. And what that is Nemesis on a Lockdown on a base on Mars. So we're really excited to get that. But we got a little email from Awaken Realms, and they said there's this one boat, this one last boat.
Just one.
From China, and it's just doing this.
And it just has Jason's box sitting in the middle
has my box
of
on
this
it.
entire freighter.
So I don't have my Lockdown yet. No big deal. I'm loving this game.
Yeah.
I don't need it. Okay, final rankings. Numbers 1 to 10, and are you ever going to play it again?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go first.
Okay. My ranking is 9. Again, I find this game to be incredibly fun, I love the tension, I love the challenge, I love that it's different each time, and so it's a 9 for me and absolutely replayable.
It's a 9 for me as well. This could become one of those Holy Grail 10 games for me. It really could. We'll see if it keeps going if those cinematic moments just keep getting delivered. I have found something. I've been teaching it to other people, and everyone's like interested, but no one seems to like it as much as you and I do. So it's something I definitely share with her. And let me tell you, in the last 2 months, I said, you want to play a game? I think every single time the word Nemesis has come out of her mouth. I mean, so that's what she wants to play from most of the time, and then we just have such a ball with it. So I really hope this was useful to you. If you are thinking of putting down over $100 on this, I hope this whole thing gave you a sense of what it's about. So maybe you're clear going, oh, I'm never playing that, right?
Yeah.
Or I'll play that. I'll come over to your house for dinner. You know, I'll bring a bottle of wine. You teach me the game, Jason, that kind of thing. Or you've already done it. You've gone on Amazon and you hit buy and it's on its way to your house. So hopefully this helps you make that decision. So, I'm Jason.
I'm Jenny.
We're the Game Warriors. Thanks for watching.